Hey guys, today we're going to talk about dividing and finding factors. So when we're finding the factors, we want to basically find the GCF, or the greatest common factor. So we're going to be doing that today, as well as rewriting these. So we look at example 1, x to the 6th plus x to the 4th minus x to the 8th. When you are trying to find the factors, you're basically comparing all of the exponents. Okay, so the exponents are the little numbers raised up. The term with the smallest exponent, or the least, is what you can factor out, okay? Because this has at least 4 x's in it. This only has 4 x's, and this also has at least 4. So what that means is I'm going to be taking out, or factoring in out, x to the 4th. And I'm going to rewrite what's left in parentheses. So we're kind of working backwards from our multiplication. We're essentially dividing. So we're going to divide each of these terms by the x to the 4th. Sorry, you can't read that too well. It's x to the 4th. And when you see exponents, when you're dividing, you subtract your exponents. So 6 minus 4, we're left with the base of x to the power of 2, because 6 minus 4 is 2, plus 4 minus 4 is x. 4 minus 4 is 0. Anything raised to the 0 power is equal to 1. Minus x to the 8th divided by x to the 4th is your base of x. Subtract your exponents. 8 minus 4 is 4. Okay, so this is what it would look like factored. It seems a little messier than what we were given, but it's all for what we're headed towards for the chapter. You can always check your answer. You do not have to do this, but you could always check it by distributing back your x to the 4th. All right, so let's check it. X to the 4th times x squared is x. Remember, we add our exponents when we're multiplying to the 6th. All right, that's what I had there. X to the 4th times 1 is just x to the 4th. That's what I had. And x to the 4th times a negative x to the 4th is negative x, add your exponents, to the 8th. All right, so you can always check your answers to make sure you're right. But as far as factoring, this is the answer we want. X to the 4th times the quantity x squared plus 1 minus x to the 4th. Sometimes these are rewritten from your highest power down to your least, or x to the 4th plus x squared, negative x to the 4th plus x squared plus 1 is how you may see it. All right, so we're going to do this problem. I didn't leave much space for this, so let me get rid of this. So just like the last example, we're going to start by finding the lowest power in each of these. Okay, we have different variables. We have A, B, and C. So focus on A first. You have A to the 6th, A to the 5th, and then you just have a plain old A. So you have to think back, okay, well, when I just have an A, what is this exponent here? And it is a 1. So you really have A to the 1st power. So you're looking for the one with the least, or the smallest exponent. 6, 5, 1. All right, therefore I can factor out A to the 1st. I'm going to put that 1 there just so we remember what's happening. Then we want to look at B's. We have B to the 4th, B to the 7th, and B to the 3rd. So 4, 7, 3, this is our smallest. So we can factor out B to the 3rd. Then we're looking at our C's. C to the 3rd, c squared, c to the fourth. The smallest exponent is c squared, or the power of 2. Now we're going to go through and look at what's left. Okay, so a to the 6th divided by a to the 1st, subtract them, 6 minus 1, I have a to the 5th. Then we have b to the 4th, we're factoring out b cubed. So 4 minus 3 is 1, or just b. C cubed divided by c squared, 3 minus 2 is 1. Plus, now we're looking at these next. A to the 5th divided by a to the 1st, 5 minus 1 is a to the 4th. B to the 7th divided by b cubed, 7 minus 3 is b to the 4th. C squared divided by c squared is just 1. You do not need to put a 1 here, okay? Times 1, the coefficient can also be written in the front, or should be written in the front, but showing the 1 is not necessary. If it had been like a 5, then yes, which we'll look at one of those examples in a minute. A to the 1st divided by a to the 1st is just 1, so I'm not going to write it. B cubed divided by b cubed is just 1 again. And c to the 4th divided by c squared, 4 minus 2 is 2, so we have c to the power of 2. So there is our expression. We don't need this 1, so I'm going to just rewrite it without it. A b cubed c squared times the quantity a to the 5th bc plus a to the 4th b to the 4th minus c squared. And once again, you can always distribute this back out to double check your answer. All right, number 3, we want to find the greatest common factor of 15xy cubed and 3x squared y squared. Then write 15xy cubed minus 3x squared y squared in factored form. That's a whole lot of stuff going on. Basically, we have to do what we just did. So 15xy cubed minus 3x squared y squared. Okay, so this one we have coefficients that are not 1. So we need to find the GCF between 15 and 3. So you're looking for a number that goes into 3 evenly and a number that goes into 15 evenly, and the largest of them. 3 is prime, so that's easy to find. Does 3 go into 15? Yes, it goes in 5 times. So therefore, I can factor out a 3. Now we're going to compare our x's. We have x to the 1st power and x squared. You're looking for the one with the smallest exponent, which is to the 1st power. So you can factor out an x to the 1st power. Next, we're going to look at our y's. Y cubed, or y to the 3rd, y squared, or y to the 2nd. 2 is definitely smaller than 3, so you can factor out a y squared. And now you're going to divide it out, see what's left. So 15 divided by 3 is 5. X to the 1st divided by x to the 1st is just 1. Y cubed divided by y squared, 3 minus 2, you get y to the 1st minus, and it is okay if you don't write that. 3 divided by 3 is just 1. X squared divided by x to the 1st, 2 minus 1 is just x to the 1st. Y squared divided by y squared is just 1. Okay, so this is what it looks like, but we need to make this look a little nicer. 3, we don't need to write the x to the 1st power because the 1 is implied. y squared times 5y, same reason, minus, we don't need this 1 here, and we don't need that 1, so we're just left with x. So this is the simplest form of this factored expression. Number 4, a company manufactures posters with inspirational sayings. Each poster has an area of 8mn squared. The length of each poster is 2mn. Find the width. Okay, so we have a rectangle. I know the area itself is 8mn squared. And I know the length is 2mn, and we want to find the width. All right, so I'm going to call this my length. And we're trying to find that width. So if we think back to area, to find the area of something, you multiply the length times the width. So we're going to work backwards. We know we took 2mn and multiplied by something. And once we multiplied it, we got the answer of 8mn squared. So all we're going to do is factor this. This is the factor that has been taken out. So if I factor out 8mn, you have to think about what's left. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. M to the first divided by m to the first is just 1. N squared divided by n to the first, 2 minus 1 is 1, or just 4n to the first. So what is the width? The width is 4n. I'm going to put it up here. Width is 4n inches. All right, so now you're going to work on these. You're going to find the factors between each of these terms. You have 6 of them to work on. So we're going to look at just one of them together, comparing our constant or our coefficient. What number goes into 6 and goes into 9? You should get 3. Goes into both of those terms. This doesn't even have an x, so we cannot take out an x. So we're left with 6 divided by 3 is 2, x squared, plus 9 divided by 3 is 3. So if I was to multiply this back out or distribute it, I would get the 6x squared plus 9. All right, and we'll do number 6 together on this side. So we're comparing the coefficients. You're thinking of the largest number that goes into 45 and 27. Because these numbers are a little bit bigger, you got to know those math facts. If you don't, that's kind of going to hold you back a little bit. One little trick is if you can add your digits, so 4 plus 5 is 9, 2 plus 7 is 9, the 9 goes into both of them. It will not always be the GCF, but it's at least some place you can get started. So we know 9 goes into each term, or each coefficient. Then you have a squared and an a. What's up here that you don't see? Correct, a 1. So this is our smallest power. So we can take out a to the first. And then we have b. There's a 1 here that you don't see. So 2, 1, we can factor out a b to the first power. So we're left with 45 divided by 9 is 5. A squared divided by a to the first, 2 minus 1, is just to the first power. B to the first divided by b to the first is 1, minus 27 divided by 9 is 3. A to the first divided by a to the first is 1. B squared divided by b to the first, 2 minus 1 is 1. So that's what it looks like with all of the exponents showing, but remember, we do not have to write to the first power. It is implied. So 9ab times the quantity 5a minus 3b is your answer for number 6. You still do number 4 and number 5. All right, if you have any questions, make sure you ask. Now that you're done with this, you need to move on to your class assignment.